Welcome back, everyone. I'm sorry that I missed last week. I've been dealing with some personal stuff. I'm going to try to do 2 this week to make up for that. I do talk about it at the end of the episode today. But for today, I've got Beverly Hills news, Real Housewives of Atlanta, Summer House in the City, OG Vanderpump Rules, Ladies of London. So lots of great stuff to go over today, and some more that I even saved for the next episode that was more recent than the stuff that I'm going through today. If you're looking for ad-free listening, head over to my Patreon, patreon.com/Bravo and Botox, and you can get all the episodes every month. And those episodes are going to be ad-free. You can also comment on them, discuss with others, things like that, and support the show. Enjoy today's episode. Welcome to the Bravo Papers, a safe space for all us Bravo fans who love to analyze, deconstruct, and talk about our favorite Bravo shows ad nauseum. So join me, Bravo and Botox, and we'll catch up on all the Bravo news and read way too much into our favorite shows and Bravo celebrities.
Mom, can you tell me a story?
Sure. Once upon a time, a mom needed a new car.
Was she brave?
She was tired, mostly. But she went to Carvana.com and found a great car at a great price. No secret treasure map required.
Did she have to fight a dragon?
Nope. She bought it 100% online. From her bed, actually.
Was it scary?
Honey, it was as unscary as car buying could be.
Did the car have a sunroof?
It did, actually.
Okay, good story.
Car buying you'll want to tell stories about. Buy your car today on
Carvana.
Delivery fees may apply.
Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of the Bravo Papers, Bravo Weekly News, here with your host, Emily, here to bring you the gossip, tea, word on the street, all that good stuff. I am sitting here and it is like the apocalypse. I mean, for those of you in Ontario who are listening, it is like there was forest fires in northern Ontario, and the smoke has blown this way, and it's like dark, and like the sun is covered because it's so thick, and the weather is like Ontario has the worst air quality in the world today because of this, and I'm like, oh my God, it's crazy. I don't know if it's going to be moving down south to my American listeners, or like I know that happened before and people in New York were dealing with it and stuff, so could be coming your way, or maybe it's already there. I don't know. I haven't looked in details. I just kind of looked at my weather network app, but I'm not going to lie, it's a little depressing. It's a little bit depressing. So what better way to ignore it than to talk about Bravo? I want to start with Real Housewives of Beverly Hills. And normally these days I start with Summer House, but I kind of want to get this one out of the way because, it's upsetting, this story. So, I just want to get it done. But I do want to give like a big, big trigger warning. This story talks about domestic violence, and there is detail, and sexual assault, and there is detail. Okay. So just keep that in mind. And if you're not wanting to listen to this story, it's pretty much the whole Beverly Hills news story. So you can just kind of go to the timestamps and go to the next show. Okay. So that's my warning there. But this story is about former Real Housewives of Beverly Hills housewife, Anna Marie, and her soon-to-be, we think, ex-husband, Marcellus Wiley. Okay. So he was arrested. So the story broke on, I think it was July 5th, but he was arrested on a domestic battery charge in Florida, and was reportedly being held without bond. Okay. And then we found out like 2 days, and I don't think anybody was surprised by this, right? Like he has a history with sexual assault. He's been accused more than once by women from as far back as like the 90s who say that he raped them. So, this guy, he's a predator. He really is. And he's a menace. But yeah, so Anna Marie, she filed for divorce. They've been together for 12 years. And listen, am I the biggest fan of Anna Marie? Did I like her on Housewives? Not really. But no one deserves this, obviously. I don't even think that needs to be said. And I do kind of attribute, maybe a lot of her actions and behavior to kind of now knowing that she's a victim of domestic violence. Like I could see that a lot of, if you look back at the season that she was on, there was a lot of like making excuses for him, sort of trying to play it like they are this great family and this like perfect family. There was also a lot of her like, she sort of stood by him during like the rape allegations. And I think that bothered a lot of people, myself included. But, what was she going to do? Like looking at it now, knowing what we know that he's abusing her all this time, if she didn't defend him, she probably would have paid, as we could see when we get into the story, she would have paid consequences, right? Like she had to, and these guys, they can be these like narcissist, like abusers. They can be very manipulative. I'm sure when they met, he love bombed and did the whole thing and made her think she was, special and all this kind of, because that's what they do, right? And then once they get you, then they've got you, and then it becomes scary. And I hope she can get out of this situation unscathed. Obviously she's already been scathed because she's already suffered with the abuse, but I hope she can get away from him safely is what I'm saying. So just, as a preamble. So she filed for divorce, and then, and he's a former NFL star. So this is, there's another layer. It's not, we're always like us here on this podcast, and you guys, my listeners, are always like, bravo, bravo. But, he's known. Okay. He's not just known because he's married to a housewife. He's an NFL star. But she alleges that he like threatened to kill her at times as well. So TMZ reported this, and basically she told the cops that he poked her in the cheek and threatened to kill her. So this is according to the arrest affidavit. And then according to more of the documents obtained by TMZ, they were inside a hotel room in Orlando, Florida, and things went awry, which means he abused her. Officers arrived, and Anna Marie told them she wanted her husband removed from their room because she was afraid of him after he threatened to take her life. Their 3 children were also in the room, along with other kids, all of whom were at the hotel to attend a basketball tournament. Oh my God. Anna Marie also told the police that he had put his hands on her while she was sitting on the bed. He used one finger to sternly and intentionally poke her on the cheek in front of their 7-year-old daughter. She told them at the time that she's planning on divorcing him, claiming he has an unreported history of violence towards her in the past. So she's been putting up with this for a long time and not reporting it, And that's almost like, it almost adds another layer when people are public figures. Like it's almost like, when you're in her position, you're like, okay, if I report this, just say this was like 5-10 years ago, and she's like going to report something the first time it happened, or the second or third or whatever. And she was like, I'm going to report this. It's like, yeah, then it's going to be, then TMZ or someone is going to pick it up, and then it's going to look bad to your husband's reputation. Everyone's going to know about, and not that I care about her husband's, but she does. And, a lot of women, like, they're not ready to leave, and they're not ready to get, they're still in the grasp of the abuser. So they don't want everyone to know because they're embarrassed. They shouldn't be, but, that's kind of part of that's part of it, is you feel ashamed or embarrassed. So yeah, like she's been in a really tough situation. He told the police that he and his wife did not have any physical altercation and that there was no violence, stating he's never laid a hand on him, and she was only there taking care of the children. Cops say that Wiley showed them text messages between them that were cordial. Well, I don't like that doesn't prove anything, like this guy. Okay. Based on Anna Marie's written statement, police found probable cause to arrest him for domestic violence and battery. Okay. So that was kind of the initial incident, but now more documents have come out, court docs obtained by Page Six, that, you know, detail the abuse and what she went through. So basically, she says, this is a direct quote from Anna Marie, continuing an escalating pattern of physical violence, sexual abuse, verbal and emotional abuse, financial control, and intimidation, much of which our children have witnessed. Ugh, that breaks my heart. I mean, it's heartbreaking either way, but it's like another layer when these poor kids have had to witness it. She says that because of the trauma she has suffered from her husband, there are gaps in my memory as I have blocked out much of what Marcellus has done to me. I mean, I guess you would almost have to, it's almost like a survival mechanism that you know, sort of like block things out or repress them to the point of not even remembering some of the things. Okay. She claims that he raped her while she was intoxicated. So that's one thing. This was around 2012. She says during the same period, he threw a food tray at my head with such force that it dented the wall. And I mean, he's like a big, strong guy, right? Also, in or about 2012, he attempted to have sex with two of her friends in the basement of their home, crawling into bed with them in the middle of the night. Oh my God. Like, ew, like, what is wrong with you? And then, sorry, what was the other part? The sports analyst, because I guess he's a sports analyst now, dragged her out of bed at 2 a.m., berated her and hit her on the head. So, like, yeah, really bad stuff. Okay, he also told her that she's his property after sexually assaulting her. Multiple times, you know, we don't need to get into every detail. Okay, where else? What was the other thing I was going to say? Oh yeah. And has attacked her in front of their children who are 10, 7, and 6 years old. In 2014, she says he punched her in the face, giving her a black eye and a split lip. Threw a full bottle of Coca-Cola at her head. Oh my God, broke her right thumb. Like, it just goes on and on. Swerved onto the freeway to frighten her and threatened to drive into the median or a wall. And I mean, let's be honest, like, this is often how these situations end. Like, it's really sad, but this is often a lot of these situations, they end in, you know, the abuser killing, you know, their family and themselves. That does happen often. So I hope she can get away and stay away safely. This is the part where being a public figure sort of helps a little bit as opposed to hurts like before, because, you know, I mean, it doesn't prevent it. Certainly, we've seen a lot of public figures who have done crazy things and killed people and abused people. But I'm just saying that, like, you know, at least there is like the public kind of eye on her. And, you know, if he wants to continue his career, which it seems like he does, because he's like kind of working overtime to like deny all of this, you know, hopefully that will make him stay away from her. However, that being said, I'm sure he doesn't seem like the type who's thinking rationally and logically, but he does seem manipulative for sure. There is that. Okay, so a no contact order was issued and Marcellus was ordered to remain at least 500 feet from Anna Marie, their marital residence, and her place of work. He's also been forbidden from communicating with his wife in any form and cannot possess any weapons. Well, good. Okay, and that's pretty much it. So, I mean, there's not much more to say besides what I've already said, except that I just hope she has safety and is able to get away from him. I mean, it's giving like the Denise Richards situation. It's very similar. There has been a lot of domestic violence on Real Housewives of Beverly Hills. Like, this show really started with domestic violence, if you think about it. So it is pretty crazy. And it, you know, and I'm not saying it hasn't been on other shows, because certainly other housewives on other franchises have talked about domestic violence situations. You know, I I recall it's been spoken about on multiple franchises, but it is pretty crazy, some of the ones that we've seen on this show specifically. Like obviously Taylor Armstrong is the one that comes to everyone's mind because, he did end up taking his own life, and that was a terrible situation for her. Um, you know, then there's Anna Marie, and then, Erika on the show talked about her incident, and then Denise Richards. Like there's been like a lot, especially it feels like lately. So my daughter is the pickiest eater. Oh my God. I have tried every multivitamin I could find at the drugstore, and honestly, she rejects all of them. I've had no luck, and I also hate them because most of them are packed full of sugar. So that's why I am so happy I found Haya. Working alongside pediatricians and nutrition scientists, Haya created a powerful chewable multivitamin that packs a blend of 12 organic fruits and vegetables plus 15 essential vitamins and minerals into every chewable. We're talking vitamin D, B12, C, zinc, folate, all the foundational nutrients that support immune health, brain function, mood regulation, concentration, and the development of strong teeth and bones. And the craziest part, picky kids like my daughter actually love them. Also, Haya just launched something brand new. If your kids are active and growing, adding in a clean protein powder with added minerals designed just for kids might be exactly what they need. Haya's new Kids Daily Growth Plus Protein is a total game changer. It's more than a protein shake. It's a Purity Awarded clean protein powder with added minerals and healthy fats that mixes right into water, smoothies, and more to support muscle development and cognition to fuel everything they've got going on. We've worked out a special deal with Haya. Receive 50% off your first order on any of their products. To claim this deal, you must go to hayahealth.com/Bravo Papers. This deal is not available on their regular website. Go to hayahealth.com/BRAVOPAPERS and get your kids the full body support they deserve. The best summer pieces are the ones you end up wearing on repeat. Comfortable, versatile, and somehow right for almost every occasion. That's why I love Quince. They make elevated essentials using premium materials like European linen, organic cotton, and washable silk without the traditional retail markup. What I love about Quince is you can get elevated basics that are work appropriate. One of my biggest issues is finding work clothes that look professional and are also comfortable and that I can sit and move in. I got their cotton cashmere rib tank, and it looks expensive, professional, and it keeps me cool and comfy at work all day. I get so many compliments on it. Make your summer wardrobe feel easier. Go to quince.com/Bravo Papers for free shipping on your order and 365-day returns. Now available in Canada too. That's QUINCE.com/Bravo Papers for free shipping and 365-day returns. Quince.com/Bravo Papers. I also saw that Crystal on her podcast with Cynthia Bailey was saying that she did not feel comfortable around Marcellus, and that she at one point asked, like, I guess at the reunion, she requested that he not be present or allowed at the reunion that season and I guess because he had said things online that she found to make her feel uncomfortable or threatening. So she was basically like, this man should not be allowed like on the reunion stage or on the set. And he wasn't going to come anyways. And of course he wasn't going to come because I'm sure Anna Marie knew, like, I don't want this guy there. He could snap and it's going to make me look bad. Right. And, when you look back on it too, like the whole like 8, whatever rating he gave her, I don't remember what that was, like 8.5 or whatever. And him saying that like he liked a woman who was like an 8 because, she's not like too hot, but she's hot, but not too hot. Like that's like, when you think about that, that's really like manipulative. Like you can see his mindset. Like his mindset is like almost like he doesn't want a woman that's like too hot because you could probably assume that he's like some like crazy, insane, jealous, because a lot of these abusers are. And he would probably be worried about like other men, like in the attention. And I'm sure he was still like that with her anyways, because that's just how they are. But even just like rating her as though she's like his property, it's just very telling. It's just, yeah, it's not good. So I hope she's okay. Wish her all the best. Now, and I'm glad she's getting away from him. It sucks that she's had to deal with this for like, 12 years or whatever it is. It's a really long time, but yeah, I hope she's finally getting away, and hopefully this could be a new chapter for her. So we do have one other Beverly Hills story that is not related to that that I did want to go over, that's, still serious, but not as heavy as the last one. So I'll timestamp it so it says like RHOBH, Erika Jayne story, so people know. But, this has been an ongoing thing and it deserves attention. Okay. But this is basically Erika Jayne is fighting an $18 million lawsuit by fashion designer over credit card purchases. So I don't know if people remember, and this is the story that every time I see this story or it pops up, it reminds me of why I don't like Erika Jayne, and I'm not falling for any of her rebranding of herself and trying to get people to forget the past, and why it reminds me like she was not innocent in that other situation with Tom Girardi, okay? Because she took part in this, and this is atrocious. Okay, so basically the claims against her that she conspired with the Secret Service to bring down a fashion designer. Okay, so that was Marco Marco. And apparently Erika filed court docs responding to the $18 million lawsuit by Chris Steliafield, I'm not sure how to say it, against her, that was filed against her in late 2023. She denies any wrongdoing and says she was never part of the scheme to target Chris. So Chris, who runs the fashion brand Marco Marco, alleges that Erika falsely told law enforcement that he misused her credit card and rang up roughly $800,000 in fraudulent charges in 2015 and 2016. But Erika says she never knowingly lied to the Secret Service. Instead, she says she only spoke with investigators about concerns over certain charges after having trouble getting receipts from Chris for purchases made on her card. He claims the ordeal caused emotional distress and damaged both his business and reputation, and he's seeking $18 million in damages. She's asking the court to throw out the lawsuit entirely. What she did to this man was so atrocious. So if you don't know the story, basically she hired this designer to design outfits for her, like, whatever tour or shows or whatever she was doing, and gave her his credit card to buy materials and whatever for the clothes that he was going to be making for her, like stage clothes and stuff like that. And basically, long story short, she racked up, tens of thousands of dollars in shopping and stuff like that as well. And basically this was one of her and Tom's schemes. She didn't want to pay it. And Tom had a friend in the Secret Service who was like a pretty high up. And basically, Tom got this guy to kind of do a favor and make it so that he wouldn't have to pay any of this credit card money back, because they would say that Chris from Marco Marco had, sorry, I'm having trouble getting this out, had rung up all these charges illegally and arrest him. And this guy, like, he literally went to jail. Like, he was in prison for like a while because of this false claim. And they knew it was false. And Erika knew too. You cannot deny, like, Erika cannot say that she didn't know. Like, you don't know why the designer, who's like a known fashion designer who you hired, you don't know why he's sitting in jail. Like, you're just going to be like, oh, I just contacted the Secret Service because there was weird charges on my credit card. Who contacts the Secret Service for weird charges on a credit card? You contest the charges to the credit card company. Like, it's insanity. And then and if that's the case, why is this guy sitting in prison? And like she really like destroyed this whole guy's life. Like there's way more details to it. You can look them up. I think it was part of that documentary about like Erika, the housewife and the hustler, whatever the hell it was. But it's really like atrocious what she did. And I hope he gets every single penny of that 18 million. I really do. All right, let's get into some Summer House news. This will be much lighter than Beverly Hills. My goodness. First things first, and most importantly, we have the official cast for season 11. Okay. Carl, Lindsay, Sierra, Kyle, Jesse, Mia, Bailey, and KJ. What a fantastic cast. Love it. No need for Wes, no need for Amanda. Screw them. And I'm very excited. I'm surprised that KJ's coming back. I thought maybe he wouldn't. But you know, I hope he says on Threads, he's pretty active on Threads, and he said he threaded or posted recently that he's doing really well. Mental health has never been better. He's in a great place. And I remember him talking about the house being like a good distraction for him. So, you know, I think as long as he says he's okay and he's, you know, doing the work and all that stuff, which it seems like he really is, then more power to him. And I'm looking forward to seeing him on screen again because I love KJ. Love Mia, so I'm really happy she's back. Bailey, I'm like, meh, I'm side-eyeing Bailey a little bit, but I'm watching her. And everybody else I'm happy about. I'm happy about all of them. So this is great. I'm really excited. And the filming is officially underway in the Hamptons because we all know they always start the July long weekend. And, you know, there's been lots of pictures floating around, including, you know, some people from in the city. Like there's like Kenny is there and people from Southern Hospitality and Next Gen. So there's like pictures like Ava Michaels from Southern Hospitality, Joe Bradley. What's her name? Joe Bradley. Oh my God. Why can't I remember her name right now? Is it Maddie? Yeah, Maddie. Okay, guys, it's a struggle out here. And yeah, there's been kind of some rumors that maybe Kyle and Ava Dash from Next Gen NYC are a thing. I mean, man, would they be a good looking couple? I mean, Ava's personality is like kind of like wah wah. She's got the most, she's trying this season to like have more personality. Like she's trying to be more like expressive on camera and stuff. You could tell she got feedback last season from production. Like you're a little boring. So you could tell she's kind of like turning it on a bit. And like she came right in with like this beef with Gia, like over nothing, whatever, over like your mom unfollowed me. Like it was so stupid. But that's what I love about that show is I feel like most of the beef is so dumb. It's just about like follows and unfollows and like, but that's good. We need that. Like we need that type of show that's not like so heavy because a lot of other stuff feels really heavy. But yeah, so apparently there's rumors about them, but I mean, there's rumors with Kyle and a lot like Kyle, I guess he's like, listen, I'm single, I'm living my best life. Cause then there's all these, you know, rumors about him and Sally. And there was a Dumois blind and it was like Sally Carson and Kyle Cook seen making out all over each other at Montauk Project last night. And then Sally commented on that and said, that was actually 2 nights ago. Okay, guys? Because like, I mean, I don't mind Sally. You know, I think she gets a lot of hate that is unnecessary. Like I do not agree with the hate that she got like from her cast on the reunion about like being out partying and stuff. Like she's a girl in her 20s or what, like that's what you do. Like there's nothing wrong with that. She is allowed to hook up with whoever she wants and to do whatever she wants. And that doesn't mean she's not wife material or whatever that was. Like, I'm not saying I like love everything about Sally. There's other things about her that I find a little obnoxious. But you know, I could see as much as like Kyle and Ava would be a really good looking match. I mean, Sally's beautiful too. But I think Sally and Kyle's personalities maybe line up a little bit more, but you know, sometimes opposites attract, you know, maybe Sally and him being both so like maybe that would be too much. I don't know. But yeah, it doesn't sound like he's like looking to get into anything serious, because then he's been seen with other random women around as well. So he was also spotted holding hands with some brunette outside Surf. I'm assuming Surf is someplace in Hamptons. I don't know Hamptons very well, besides like what I see on pop culture and television. So it seems like, Kyle's quote unquote playing the field. Whether he officially kind of hooks up with someone and decides to, go the girlfriend route, I think that would be interesting to see who's the first girl that he seriously dates after this relationship. I would be interested to see who it is. Now, what I don't need is another like of these like long distance, Sally and Kyle doing like a Paige and Craig kind of thing. I don't need that. It's too much. Like if they're going to like be in a relationship, Sally's going to have to move because Kyle is more established and Bravo. But here's the thing. I actually think Sally would move. Like legit, she would move. She would totally move. Who wouldn't rather be on, I would rather be on Summer House. I would rather live, I don't know if I'd rather live in New York versus Charleston. I really don't know because I haven't been to either of those places. They're very different lifestyles. I think they're both like fun and enjoyable in different ways. But would I rather be on Summer House or in the city or Southern Charm? Summer House or in the city, 100%. Like, I would much rather, and especially after you've dealt with like Shep and Austin dicking you around, and it's like, why wouldn't you? And Craig yelling at you, like, why wouldn't you want to go on Summer House? Not that I think that Sally needs to move or pick up her whole life. I'm like fast forwarding way ahead. Probably it's just a hookup at this point. Okay, so what else do we have? Their first big theme party was at their new house in Montauk. So they have switched houses. So they're not in the original house that they were in. And the new house is going to be in Montauk rather than the Hamptons, which I don't know, to me makes more sense. This is how the show started. Originally, they were in Montauk. So those of you who are like OG Summer House fans, that was like one of the first lines from Kyle where he was like, your grandmother goes to the Hamptons, but like your hot aunt or cousin is in Montauk. Montauk's like where the party is. Like I remember that was like how they tried to like sell it to us, and then they ended up in the Hamptons. So yeah, so that's kind of going back to like to the original. Blinds are also saying that Carl is fully leaning into wingmanning single Kyle all over the Hamptons. He's been hooking up with and this is Carl, he's been hooking up with a blonde fitness instructor while also trying to get with one of Mr. Cook's new flames blonde best friends since Palm Tree Fest. Okay, Carl. I don't know. It's hard for me with Carl. He just seems like he's just kind of seemed not that interested in the opposite sex as of late. And maybe that's just because he was so focused on like his sobriety and things like that. And, it just seemed like he seemed a little like, he kind of gives like asexual vibes sometimes, but hey, maybe, sobriety is a process. And over the years you transform and there's that time where you're like finding a new identity, and maybe he's more comfortable now. So he's ready to date. I don't know. Good for him. I grew up in an era where you had to buy furniture in store. So when shopping for a sectional recently, that was kind of my first instinct. But in all other aspects of my life, I shop online. So I decided to give Wayfair a try for this huge purchase, even though I was nervous. And let me tell you, zero regrets. If you're nervous about buying a big ticket item online, don't be, because with Wayfair, you've got thousands of options, incredible deals, free shipping, and easy returns even on big furniture items. I am loving my new sectional. It's got space for up to 6 people. Everyone can stretch out. It's so beautiful. It's got vegan suede and camel, and it's the most comfortable couch I've ever owned. It's completely transformed my family room. We actually spend more time together now that we can all sit comfortably. Ready to upgrade your home for way less? Head to wayfair.com right now to shop all things home and get your space ready for less. That's WAYFAIR.com.
Wayfair, every style, every home.
Something about summer days makes me want to be out and doing things way more often. I mean, of course, I'm still going to be watching all the Bravo and Housewives, but in between that, going on walks, going outside to drink my tea on the porch, weekend trips, beach days. And every year when summer hits, I realize that I need clothes that can actually keep up with what I'm doing during the summer, but I'm not going to be buying a whole new wardrobe every year. And that's honestly why I started looking for a better option and ended up joining Fabletics as a VIP, which completely changed how I shop for summer. New VIPs unlock major savings on their first purchase, so stocking up on cute, comfortable pieces doesn't feel like such a splurge. I've actually started doing daily power walks this summer, and finding a legging that doesn't roll down and keeps me cool and comfortable was not easy. So I'm so glad I found Fabletics Heather Flex legging. They're so soft and comfortable, and they actually stay in place and keep me from overheating. Shop now at fabletics.com/Bravo Papers to get 70 to 80% off everything when you sign up as a new VIP. Take a quick style quiz and be sure to select Bravo Papers when prompted to unlock this offer. This is a limited time offer, so don't wait. Again, that's fabletics.com/Bravo Papers for 70 to 80% off everything as a new VIP. And also congratulations to the Summer House team because they have been nominated for an Emmy, Outstanding Unstructured Reality Program. And then Top Chef is nominated for like a whole bunch, but I hope Summer House wins. I'm so sick of Emmys and these like award people acting like, they're above shows like Summer House, or like Summer House doesn't, shows like Summer House or Vanderpump Rules or whatever don't deserve awards. I mean, these are good shows. They're well produced. They have fleshed out storylines. There's a lot of human condition and relationships and stuff like that. And they deserve an award. And I think Summer House does. I think they had a really great season. And it was very impactful in many ways, like discussions around like race and things like that. Like it wasn't just, a bunch of people getting drunk in the Hamptons. And even if it was, why can't that get an award too? Okay, let's get into some in the city news, which makes sense because it's kind of related to Summer House. Summer House's spinoff show. Okay, so one of the first things I wanted to talk about was there was this blind that came out that suggested that Lindsay may be dating Matt James, who, for any of you who are like from the Bachelor world or watched it or still watch it, he was the Bachelor. So somebody wrote into Dumois saying, I was the +1 for a party at Budokan in New York City last night. It was the launch, blah, blah, blah. Lindsay Hubbard walked into the event with Matt James, who it seemed like was her +1. Carl ended up showing up later too. Then when I was leaving, I spotted Lindsay, Matt, Carl, Yvonne, Nick, and a few other people all having dinner in the main dining room together. Matt had his arm around Lindsay and he was caressing her shoulder in a flirty, cute way. It definitely looked like they were flirting. Thought it was cute that they were all at the same table hanging out and having fun together, including Carl. Yes, I also think that's cute. And I mean, I'm not surprised because Carl and Lindsay have seemed to be in a great place. I don't know about this Matt James guy. I don't know about him. I don't remember what happened with his breakup. Like he was the Bachelor and I wasn't watching Bachelor at this point. Like I did used to watch it, but I stopped in like 2019-ish. So I don't think I watched his season. No, I didn't watch his season, but there was something in his breakup. I can't remember exactly what it was, but he was fuckboyish in some way in that breakup. And I remember there was hate towards him. Now, that being said, that doesn't mean that a person can't like change, or it doesn't mean that like maybe that just wasn't the right match and he didn't handle getting out of it very well. which that happens. A lot of guys do that. You know, they want to break up with someone and they're too chicken to do it in a straightforward manner. So they do it in other shady ways and, you know, try to get you to break up with them and like all this bullshit. But yeah, so I'm not sure, but I don't know. I'm watching you, Matt James. However, I mean, when it comes to Lindsay, it's like, fuck around and find out. Like, if he does, she will put him on blast so hard. And like, I actually feel sorry for him if he messes around with her because yeah, he'll rue the day. And we all know that. So that's good for Lindsay and for us. Now, meanwhile, Lindsay is responding to people on thread. Lindsay is all over threads lately. My goodness. And I love every minute of it. It's so entertaining. It's like you can watch In the City and then know you still have another like 5 hours of entertainment after because Lindsay's going to be on threads arguing with people. So they talk about, first of all, like from the show from a couple weeks ago where Lindsay was like, then why are you here to Danielle? And someone wrote, Lindsay absolutely didn't want Danielle on the show, which is why we need to stop centering Kyle and Lindsay on this ensemble show. Okay, I don't know who this person is, but that is the worst take I have ever heard. This show wouldn't even be here if it didn't center Kyle and Lindsay. The whole reason the show is successful is because of Kyle and Lindsay. I'm sorry. Whether you hate them or love them or whatever, they have been the stars of Summer House. They carried that show on their backs. They're the reason it's on its 11th season. You're an idiot. That's an idiotic take. Like, period. Okay. Then he said, we're not doing the whole, we're the king and queen of the show. So, okay, shut up. So we get the primary room dynamic. That's not why Southern Charm or the Valley work. Guess what? Southern Charm or the Valley don't work, actually. The Valley's having a terrible season. Southern Charm, the last like 3 seasons have been shit. So like, I don't know what this person is. I don't know who this person is, but I will never. Hey, Mr. Brucey, I'm calling you out. Your Bravo takes are atrocious. We want to know the rest of the cast. Yeah, we are getting to know the rest of the cast. They're newer. It's going to take time. Like, it's been 1 season and it's a short season. And tell the castmates to not center Kyle and Lindsay. Every time they sit down, the cast is like, let's talk about Amanda and Kyle, because guess what? The new people, they don't want their shit to be the center of the show. They want to talk about Amanda and Kyle because it's easy. These two are a married couple not living together on the brink of divorce. Let's make them, you know we need a storyline. Let's make them. And they do it at every goddamn scene, mostly Gavin, love him, because they don't want to talk about their own shit. He was on Watch What Happens Live the other night, Gavin, and he was wearing like a big necklace that was like a huge spoon because of the pots. I don't know. I love that man. Okay. Like, there's a lot of people online that are like, Gavin, he's so annoying. Why is he doing that? Because he understands what his job is. And I think he's hilarious. Like, he's so messy and he loves it. You could tell he loves it. So Lindsay responded and said, I don't think people should go on a show and then say, we're not talking about this, we're not talking about that, because that's a private matter. Okay, then why are you here? That's what I was saying. Yeah, I mean, that's what I understood it as. And I agreed with her. And I'm sorry, but listen, I'm happy for Danielle and that guy that she's with. They seem like a good match and like they're happy. Congrats on the baby. Like, no, and I'm not even a big Danielle fan, but like, no hate. But what I will say is that I do think there was some overlap. I'm sorry. I think, granted, he may have been in a marriage where he was miserable and maybe she was too. I don't know. It could have been a terrible marriage. It could have been one of those situations. They never should have got married. That does happen. And then during that time, he met someone else and was like, oh shit, like this is who I really have feelings for. That person was Danielle. But like, you do kind of have to own it. And I think if he owned it and said, yeah, I didn't go about it in a great way. I should have, gotten separated and divorced before I started dating Danielle. But I'm not going to lie, like while I was in that marriage, I did start to have feelings for someone else. And, the marriage wasn't good. It wasn't working. We just weren't the match. And like, we're both better off and, happy we got out of it with no kids and whatever. I mean, and Danielle should maybe keep an eye on him. Just saying. But like, I think you just have to own it because all this like it makes it sound even worse. Like it makes it sound like, oh, they were having like a 2-year affair or something like that. And I don't know, maybe they were. But again, if he just explained it clearly, I think whatever people are making up in their minds is probably maybe worse than the truth. I don't know. So Lindsay and Georgina were on Watch What Happens. Well, Georgina was on Watch What Happens Live, but Lindsay was in the audience, which it basically felt like Lindsay was on. But she's a presence. But sorry, I hiccuped. But Georgina was on, and they asked Lindsay a few questions. They asked about her and Matt James. She gave like a vague, like, I don't know, you're gonna have to watch Summer House and find out. And like, she knows what she's doing. So there was that. So I guess, I don't know, I guess that means, or watch the next season. So I guess we're gonna be seeing Matt on one of the upcoming seasons. That would be interesting. I'd be interested in seeing that. The other thing was they asked Georgina if she regretted calling dibs on the bedroom. And basically she says no, because, they planned the trip and, they listen, I think that I agree with her. Like, I think that, do they necessarily get that room because they're moms and they're tired? I think that reason alone, no. But I think that and all the other reasons, they're the only non-couple, first of all. So yeah, I do think you should get the bigger bed. I'm sorry, if I have to sleep with someone that I'm not like in a relationship with and having sex with, I do want the biggest bed. Like if I'm sleeping with one of my friends, especially at this age, like if you had talked to me when I was like 22, it would be different. But, I'm like 42 now. Like it's like, I need my space, like, and we need comfort. So I do think that everyone else is there with a couple. I think that's fair. I also think that, for a million years, Lindsay took the less good room on Summer House. And Kyle and Amanda always got the best room because they were the couple. They were the married couple. They got a lot of privileges because they were married. So why can't Lindsay and Georgina get a privilege because they're moms? What's the difference? They want to give Yvonne the privilege because she got married. Like all of these are like societal conventions. So I think Lindsay and Georgina have every right to use their societal convention against the other people's. Yvonne already had a wedding. Okay. She already had a big wedding and a big celebration, etc. And now like Kenny being like, she's the bride, we should give her this room. Like I get he's saying because like everyone got upset at her event and she had planned it. But again, like you already had a wedding. So I'm sorry. I think Lindsay and Georgina planned the trip. I think Lindsay is the HBIC. It's the first season. She's got the most seniority on this show, her and Kyle. But obviously, her and Kyle aren't going to sleep together. And I think her and Georgina have a good argument. And I think everyone else's arguments are just as, like, they're worse. They're just not as good. So I'm with them. Okay. So Lindsay also wanted to clarify some things on Threads, as she does. She says, let me be clear. Kenny told me at paintball, I didn't bring this up, that he and I should have first picks of rooms since we were hosting the weekend. He then unilaterally made a decision to give the first pick to Yvonne and Nick. All good if that's your idea of a gesture, but you clearly set me up in that situation. Manipulative. I mean, I could see that because I think Kenny is like trying to make himself look better. So for him to say to Lindsay, like, we have first picks, you and I, but I'm going to give my pick to Yvonne, well, that's fine. But you can't give away Lindsay's pick. That's not on you. And Lindsay's been in the less good room for 10 years. And she's like, this is my turn. And then she said, too, in the 10 years on Summer House, I've never gotten into a fight about rooms. Even when I was pregnant and was offered the primary, I declined. It's not my style. I mean, yeah, she's got a point. Also, I've never talked to Whitney about being a single mom. If anything, I've clarified to her about being a working mom. Not once have I said single because my marital status doesn't make a difference here. Happy to post my text thread of me checking in on Whitney in between all my jobs, though, that she decided to use against me in this moment. Didn't see her checking in on me once, but I took time out of my busy schedule to check in on her. So yeah, happy to post. Ooh, she got you there. That's true. Lindsay didn't say single mom. She said mom. So, and they are privileged in this situation. Like, I get it. Like, Lindsay's privileged in the sense that she can afford help and stuff. And there is a man in the picture. But, when you are separated or divorced, you are a single mom. I still consider those people single moms because when you are with them on your own, you're on your own. And it is a lot harder to do things on your own. Um, you know, I just think that it's very nuanced. Like it depends on the situation. It depends on a million factors. And there's of course moms who have no man at all, are completely on their own, don't have any sort of childcare or privilege or money to hire people. Like there's people in a worse, there's always somebody in a worse situation though. There really is. That doesn't mean that it's still not tiring and difficult doing bedtime by yourself and that kind of, that's not an easy thing to do. It's just really not. But I think Whitney is, listen, I think Whitney of all people should shut her mouth, if I'm going to be honest, because to me, I don't know. To me, she seems very like man-centered. And I guarantee you, I just feel like the second Whitney is married and has kids, she's going to be all over Instagram, posting her baby every 5 seconds, doing all the sponsorships, talking about being a mom. Not like she's going to be the most annoying one. I just know it. I just know it. Okay, let's get into some Real Housewives of Atlanta news. And Atlanta's episode on Sunday was, I mean, the episode was okay, but the ending was so good. It was like one of those like jaw-dropping moments. Okay, so if you didn't watch it already, spoilers, but because I want to talk about it a little bit before I get into the news. But so Shamia drops this bomb that Portia's mom tried to sleep with her dad, which is crazy. And then Portia is like, and Portia was like, I feel like, listen, I've been critical of Portia in the past, but I have come around and I do like her now. And I think she's been doing a great job. Like, I think she's been really like, she used to like flip out pretty easily. I saw somebody who tweeted and they were like, Portia used to beat people up for like way less. I was like, it's true. So, it seems like she's got her anger management under control. We love that. But I also just feel like she's been like playing nice with Shamia. Like she's got this friend who came on the show and the show is kind of her thing. And she is like kind of the queen of the show or one of the queens of the show. And then her friend comes on and has been like using her for a storyline like since the jump and like making it into a thing. And I understand why Portia's annoyed with that. Like I could see that maybe Portia was a little bit like, oh God, Shamia's going to come on this show. But here's the thing. The reason that I think she was like that is for this exact reason, because she knew that Shamia would come on, be thirsty, and then need a storyline. And she was going to and she's not going to like share like something negative about her family or something. So, or whatever is going on behind those closed doors, but she's going to instead, because her husband is, I don't know. Anyways, she's going to instead use Portia. And I see why Portia's annoyed by that and would not want, like, I get that. I think that doesn't make Portia like a terrible person. So yeah, Shamia makes this accusation and, they get into it on the show. And then, so she says that Portia's mom tried to sleep with her father. Portia denies it, says that her mother was actually dating Shamia's uncle. And that Shamia's mother then went and slept with said uncle. So the uncle that Portia's mom was dating. Does that make sense? So, and then Shamia's response, this is like, which uncle? And then I was like, Okay. And then I love and then they had Phaedra in the confessional being like, which uncle? Like, why wouldn't your response be that's not true? Not which one? I was dying, honestly. It was one of like the funniest things. So yeah, like I don't know. I'm kind of like then she goes, Shamia, then she goes in the van after or whatever, and she's like crying like she's a victim. You went so low. You brought this up, you brought it onto the show. You're the one who kind of dropped this bomb. Granted, it made a great scene. Don't get me wrong. I was freaking entertained. But at the same time, it's like you can't bring that up and then go and cry when Portia comes back at you with her own accusation. If you're going to go low, she's going to go low as well. That's housewives. That's like standard housewives. It really is. Like it's like literally like if we taught a course called Housewives Basics 101, that would be one of like the top 5 rules. Like it's crazy. And then the other thing that when Shamia was like suggesting that, what did she say? She was suggesting that you don't want your daughter around me. Like I would never do anything to hurt your daughter. She didn't say that you would do something to hurt her daughter. Like that it's a very like manipulative, twisty way of taking that feeling that Portia has, which is that we're not friends anymore. We have bad vibes between us. We're not getting along. So no, our families are not going to be hanging out together, which I'm sorry, makes 100% sense. Like if I'm not friends with someone and I don't like them and we're in a bad place, we're not like getting together and I'm not dropping my daughter off at your house to like hang out. Like that's psychotic. No one's doing that. So her bringing that up in the first place was stupid. It didn't even make any sense. And then she doesn't like really get anything out of it. So she drops this bomb about Portia's mom trying to sleep with her dad. And then when it comes back at her, she goes and like cries about it. I just like, I can't. And listen, I was on Shamia's side with the Angela thing. Okay. I thought Angela, took it a little too far with that whole like sleeping with that George guy. It seemed like she was just making stuff up out of the blue. But, with this, it's like, what are we doing? It's crazy. So then Portia tweeted a little bit more on this on the Twitter. And she said, wait, just catching up here in the Bahamas. Yo, I can't believe there are actually people talking about my mother and mentioning my daughter in a negative way. Was this really worth it? Shamia took this way too far. You're not innocent when you've got people discussing my mom because of a lie you told on this show. If we're going to discuss it, keep it between us. Now let's discuss you sleeping with your manager who's married to one of your high school friends, as well as a pastor in what is that? It's Decatur, Decatur, who's 100% on your roster, along with many more. Hashtag let's go, hashtag RHOA. Yeah, I mean, listen, Shamia, she poked the bear and now she's gonna suffer the consequences. And this, even knowing this now, like I'm thinking back to like she was on this like press tour about how she's going into the reunion alone and everyone's bullying her and she's going in with no allies. Like she was like on podcast doing every interview left, right, and center. And now I'm like, yeah, you did like the Angela thing fine. And I think a lot of people were on, like she did gain favor from the audience because of the Angela of it all. But I'm also kind of like, you did a lot of this to yourself. You really did, Shamia. I'm sorry. Now, in response to the whole Angela thing, the woman, the neighbor of Angela, who is married to the George guy, so she has spoken up on that storyline on an Instagram story. And she says, imagine calling me to fish for information about another woman, getting absolutely nothing but a neutral response, then turning around and making my husband the centerpiece of a story you created in your own head. Let's be serious. Out of everything in this world, why would I ever give someone permission to put my husband in the middle of an allegation like that? That doesn't even make sense. I'm just glad Shamia brought it to light before she had the chance to fully run with that made-up narrative. Meanwhile, the Byrams don't need a show so that's them, to validate our lifestyle. And if making the cut was supposed to elevate you, it didn't do much. Your front lawn is taller than me and full of weeds. Do better, neighbor. Ooh, okay. So Angela doesn't mow her lawn? Is that what she's saying? I mean, if she doesn't, like, she needs to get on that, because I really hate when people let their front lawn get all weed. And there's no excuse. Angela can afford to hire someone to come mow the lawn. Okay. Maybe Charles needs to do a little less cooking, a little more mowing. I don't know what the situation is, but let's not let those weeds get out of control. Okay. That's if this person's telling the truth, which they could be just saying that to embarrass Angela. But Angela responded in her own way on an Instagram story and said, "Nope, y'all taught me a valuable lesson. We know clout chasers when we see them now. Won't get me again. Truth doesn't need my help. It'll reveal itself soon. P.S. I saw this man yesterday and he told me he loves all this." So I guess she's talking about the husband, the George guy. Funny how me hiring a private investigator and asking questions somehow turned into a manufactured storyline for somebody chasing a moment. Y'all don't have to like me, but one thing I'm not is a damn fool. And by the way, if you don't want your personal injury attorney all in the blogs, videos, and Instagram chasing clout, maybe choose at Delos PR 96. I guess that's someone else who's a attorney that she knows, who she's she's doing a little sponsored post here in while using her response. I didn't bring them into the conversation, with a shrugging emoji. I mean, I get what she's saying, but you fucked up on this one. Like, love Angela, but she did kind of mess up on this. Now, listen, I'll eat my words. If it turns out Shamia did sleep with this guy and it turns out that all of this stuff, that the neighbor, everything was true and everything, fine. But I don't know. That doesn't seem like the direction it's going in, I would say. Okay, so we've got a little bit of Vanderpump Rules news, just an update on the whole Victoria Robinson, Tom Sandoval of it all, which was a big story on the last episode. But basically, Victoria has filed for a restraining order against Tom Sandoval. However, it was a temporary restraining order that she was requesting. However, it was denied because the judge had already granted Sandoval an active restraining order against her and her dad. Okay, but the judge did order them to vacate the Los Angeles rental property that they shared. Okay, so that was one thing. But Robinson filed this petition, and she says that Sandoval routinely subjected her to verbal abuse and physical violence, including incidences in August 25 and May 2026. Okay, obviously Sandoval denies this and said that he lived in fears of her physical attacks. Okay, and he previously presented police reports and video evidence from a June 3rd, 2026 altercation, which led to Robinson's arrest, which, I still don't get, because in that, unless that's a different one, but in that altercation, it was very clear that he was the aggressor. I mean, no, it's clear that her father attacks him, but he attacks him like in defense. So that's what I don't get about this. But am I surprised, though, that the relationship that is based on doing hard drugs and, living a very shallow type of lifestyle has ended in fire and brimstone, basically? No, I'm not. Not at all. But yeah, I mean, these two, just like when Lindsay was getting in the middle of them at BravoCon, these two are a disaster. And, I've heard things about them. They've done I remember them doing like a live at like 4 a.m. once, and the two of them were so beyond fucked up on, I don't know what drugs or what, but it was insane. And it seems like a very toxic situation. Okay, let's go to some Next Gen NYC news, because Georgia was on Watch What Happens Live, and Andy asked her about Kyle's rendezvous with Ava. And Georgia basically says that Ava's rendezvous with Kyle is securing a season 3 contract. Interesting. So does that mean that Georgia and Ava are not friends anymore? Because so far on this season, Georgia and Ava are kind of like a duo, like the two of them are friends. And it seems like the two of them are sort of united against Riley and other people, like basically a lot of the other cast, because it seems like a lot of people don't like Ava and Georgia. So I'm surprised at this. But am I surprised like that, or do I think that this could really be a thing that she's trying to secure? Yes, I do, because Ava's personality has, as I said earlier, has changed so much between season 1 and 2. Like she went from like flat and monotone to like less flat and monotone, but like trying to have more like personality, trying to get into more drama is mostly it. But like I feel like, although to be honest, a lot of the people on the show are very flat and monotone. This particular show, I don't know if it's like a Gen Z thing, but yeah, they all are kind of like that. But I do think that Ava has been trying to like make sure she's in the mix, which is, I mean, I don't think that like means anything like super bad. I think she just wants to stay on the show, which is fair because I think they all do, to be honest. But yeah, I do think that could she be like hanging out with Kyle Cook for more like publicity, attention, followers? Yeah, I could see that. It's not like crazy. And I think a lot of Bravo Lebs have done that before in the past. Like have done that, you know, to kind of up their profile. So, okay. Our last piece of news here comes from Ladies of London, the sadly now canceled Ladies of London, because Margot was on Jeff Lewis Live and she was asked directly by Jeff if Ladies of London is on pause because of a lawsuit from her. And I talked about this last episode and how I thought probably not. Like, what would the lawsuit be? Like, I was kind of leaning towards not, but I have to say my mind is completely changed after listening to this clip from Jeff Lewis. And you can probably find it online if you just do a pointed search. But basically, he asks her the question and she does not give a direct answer. It's very like West Wilson when he was on Watch What Happens Live, asked about him and Amanda. But she's like, she answers the question with a question, first of all, which is always a tell to me that the person is lying. But he's like, is the show on pause because of you, because of a lawsuit? And she's like, well, what would the lawsuit even be? And he's like, well, I don't know, like whatever lawsuit. And she's like, what would that even be? And then she just keeps going down that line of questioning and she never says no. She never denies it. And she very much goes on this like roundabout word salad type of answer. And yeah, I'm not going to lie. Now I believe that there is a lawsuit and she is the reason that the show is on pause. And I'm pissed. Like, why do you have to ruin this for us? This show was so good. And like, I wonder what the lawsuit is. But then I'm also kind of like, if there's a lawsuit, like, why don't we know about it? Like, doesn't it usually get leaked into the public domain? Maybe it will eventually. I don't know. Like, if it's a civil suit, does it have to be public knowledge? I don't even know. I don't know. Lawyer people, you can tell me. Okay. You can tell me if you know. But either way, I blame Margot for my favorite show being gone. I'm so dramatic. My favorite show is not on the air anymore, guys. It's like it's not actually my favorite, but it's in my top, okay? It's up there. I love it. It was really good. All right, everyone. Thank you so much for joining me today. I'm sorry that my episodes are few and far between lately. I'm just dealing with some stuff of my own, some mental health stuff and changes. And I'm in kind of a transition era in dealing with some stuff. And it's, making it more difficult for me to get things done, basically, that's the most I can say without getting too specific and personal. But yeah, my intention is to be back weekly, and if I miss a week, to double up. So thank you so much for your patience in that and for still listening to the podcast and being the best audience. And you are now in the know for everything Bravo. Bye.